So, The Last of Us TV series is out, and yeah, it's good. I never doubted it was gonna be good, I just personally didn't want it. But nevertheless, I enjoyed it. But with the show's ending, the age-old debate of whether Joel is a morally good person is back. And oh boy, it is worse than ever. See, and that's because of two reasons. A new hybrid Joel defender has been birthed because, well, Pedro Pascal is father. And on the opposite side, with a brand new direction for that infamous ending, it is less ambiguous than ever, that the ending is not supposed to be seen as a good thing. But of course, this is just an immovable object versus an unstoppable force, and this debate will never end. But I don't know if it's because this is my third wind on this fight, or I'm just feeling some type of way this time around, but I'm more annoyed about this debate than I've ever been. And it's not because I'm particularly defensive of one of the either sides. No, it's because I think Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann wrote themselves into a corner and would rather fuel these debates than actually try to mend this plot hole. So let me run down really fast both sides of the debate. On one side, people believe that by saving Ellie and refusing to let her die in the name of a cure, that was a morally bad decision. Now, most people don't really see this as a bad thing and use it to defend Joel as a well-written character. On the other hand, people believe that Joel was actually right in his decision, and that the cure was a load of bullshit, citing real sciences and specific voice memos from the game to defend their point. Now, I've been on both sides of this argument, but I just want everyone to take a step back and proceed to look at everything that has been presented to us. The events of the ending of The Last of Us proceed as the following. Joel is told that in order to extract a cure from Ellie, they have to perform a surgery on her that will kill her. Thoroughly believing this info, Joel makes a decision to not just save Ellie, but kill everyone in the hospital that stands in his way, which is why he kills Jerry alongside Marlene instead of just leaving her wounded. He then lies to Ellie about what went down, and then the story ends. These are not opinions, these are just the legit story beats of the ending. Looking at it, it's pretty clear that Joel made a conscious decision to air out the hospital with no remorse in order to save Ellie and deprive the world of a cure. Even if the cure is bullshit, Joel believes it to be true, and so does Ellie. The decision Joel makes is a conscious one, and to further prove that, he lies to Ellie. I mean, clearly from the lie, we are meant to believe that Joel did not do something good consciously. He made the selfish act and has to live with that decision. So yeah, there's a strong case for this reasoning, and knowing what happens in the second game, it feels like a lot of signs point towards this side of the debate. But also, let's look at several key choices the series makes when talking about the science of its world. Neil Druckmann did not just want to make another zombie game. He wanted to make something that was incredibly grounded, that way he could still portray a story that is about humans. And that is why he chose cordyceps, an already real type of fungal infection that takes over ants and other small insects. The TV show even goes further by talking about how they work as a colony and that they move like a hive mind with long roots, which is another idea taken from the actual infection. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of people who like to say, well, it's fiction, you have to have some suspension of belief. To which I say, that's a load of bullshit this time around. ND and ND very clearly wanted to write something very realistic, and if you're gonna go this far with the specifics, you better put in that effort to everything. This is why the idea of a cure sounds like bullshit. I'm sorry, but are you telling me that with the extremely limited equipment of this apocalyptic world, you can somehow make a cure of a virus that doesn't just corrode the mind, but the body as well? How do you plan to cure the damage that has been done to the body? Most clickers are so far gone that if you were to somehow salvage the mind, the body wouldn't even keep up. I mean, to be fair, when they talk about the cure in the show, it sounds like they're actually talking about a vaccine, which is kind of an important distinction, but that's neither here nor there. Still, if it means a vaccine, how would you distribute it? Very clearly, society has ended. Fedra isn't gonna just be like, well, the Fireflies have been killing us for years now, but if they say they have a vaccine, we'll just forget about all of that. No, it's just, it can't be distributed in the way that we think it can be distributed. Also, I'm sorry, you're telling me that with the few doctors that you have left, you are still able to manufacture a whole cure, even if you had someone who worked in disease and infections, it would take dozens of people to figure out how to cure it, even if you had someone that was immune. Not to mention, we get to meet the guy who's running this project. And I'm sorry, I don't buy it for a second. The sad truth is that even if you've just passed freshman high school biology, you can kind of see the cracks starting to form in this whole idea. And as one last damning piece of evidence, there's the literal opening scene of the TV series.
And there are no treatments for this, no preventatives, no cures. They don't exist. It's not even possible to make them.
So if that happens,
we lose.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Rewatching that gives me chills. God damn it, HBO, you really don't allow bad performances, huh? Anyway, I understand that this could be some form of a red herring meant to scare you into believing how dire the situation is, only for it to sound like the cure is a bigger glimpse of hope and a bigger deal. But still, it doesn't make sense. And that's the problem with the whole situation. Nothing makes sense. None of it, and that's what makes this whole argument frustrating and not fun. From a storytelling perspective, the ending and the themes of the game work with that sacrifice made in mind. In a game that is about gray morality and what makes us human at our core, Joel sacrificing a cure for humanity to get back what he lost is an infinitely more interesting story than one made about sacrificing oneself to save humanity. And if the one big decision that is supposed to be the culmination of those themes is thrown out for a generic black or white answer, it just doesn't make sense. It goes against everything the story has been telling up to that point. But also, if you want to make an incredibly grounded story about humanity, you have to fill in all of your cracks. And the fact that your biggest crack has been used for the past 10 years to dissuade the themes of your story makes you look lazy. If a 14-year-old can tear down the entire science of your finale, you've done something wrong. And that wouldn't matter if this was supposed to be a fun, whimsical, fictional story, but it's not. D&D Backwards specifically took the necessary steps to try and make this story as grounded as possible. It's like if you take that horse drawing meme to describe the science of the show, it looks like this. And I'm sorry, in a AAA video game that also has an HBO adaptation, you cannot have a crack like that. And the sad part is, that's not our fault. No one on either side of the debate is wrong. It's just Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann who look bad because of it. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that either group is bad at making a story. Both have a long history of doing amazing work, as seen by the commercial success of The Last of Us and Uncharted. Obviously, they're doing something right. But also, I just want to show y'all something that Neil Druckmann himself said. The result was for a pitch for a problematic title called Mankind. The key difference was that in Mankind, the virus only affected women. An early version of Ellie was the only female who was immune, and Joel decided to protect her in order to bring her to a lab where a cure could potentially be created. But they weren't able to sell the idea, especially after several female Naughty Dog employees voiced their concerns. The reason it failed is because it was a misogynistic idea, says Druckmann. What? But yeah, the truth is, this frustrating debate is due to some incompetence from the writing staff, and it's getting to the point where they should not be ignoring this problem. Because at the end of the day, the one this hurts the most is their story and their fans. The truth about this debate is that it isn't fun because not only are people being aggressive to each other, but regardless of which side is right, something drastically suffers because of it.